It's time for the East Blue review of our boy, Daniel Greene. Let's go.
I know.
Click the like button, subscribe to him, like his video, watch his video. It's in the description. Go.
Daniel, you went from reviewing one individual storyline to an entire arc. What happened? I made an oopsie. A little oopsie here. Accidentally started reading stuff from the next arc before picking up where I was supposed to because the app fat thumb. I think I fat thumbed it. I'm still not entirely sure how it happened. But as a result, I read some of the next arc, and that was confusing. I wasn't sure what was going on for a minute. Went back, corrected the issue, and then I decided to catch
That's amazing.
to where I accidentally read from. And that was 12 volumes. I did it. I failed you, I'm sorry. But now I get to review the East Blue Saga of One Piece. And I'm going to do it justice here and give you a thorough review. And please do forgive me. I am new to reviewing
And it's still only 11 minutes, which is pretty wild.
I know I'm going to mispronounce some stuff as well as some character names. I apologize. Let me apologize like an anime character. I failed you! But anyway, our story continues off after my last review ended in Syrup Village to some much more interesting, I would actually say, story beats for our characters here. I was already enjoying One Piece for the sake of just who the characters were.
It's kind of wild that he's doing an entire saga in that amount of time.
We get a
It's
lot
impressive.
more development into not only their relationships, but who they are as individuals and what motivates them. I think my favorite fleshing out here would be Nami and Zoro. I still don't really care about Usopp.
Damn! Oh, the Usopp slander, dude. Oh,
this is going to be pretty much a spoiler-filled.
Everybody
conversation
fucking
because
hates
this has been out
Usopp.
for over
It's so
20
sad.
Years, and I don't necessarily think I can give a good review of One Piece without getting into
H
spoilers.
man, think me 11 months. Sorry, I missed that, dude.
Experience of reading One Piece than necessarily the narrative beats. So even if you haven't read it, I don't feel like you're missing a whole lot having something spoiled for you, at least not yet in this first
Makes
arc.
sense.
But let's go ahead and get into the details after the Syrup Village. So on their new pirate ship, Luffy and the crew hear of a floating restaurant because absurdism is wonderful, and this restaurant has an amazing motivation behind it that I love. It basically boils down to the owner was left on an island with his mentor, and because he had to watch his mentor cut off his own leg and eat it to stay alive, he has now decided no matter who shows up at his restaurant, he will feed them. Pirates converge on this restaurant and rather predictably
I cannot wait to compare like the manga to the anime.
Armadas going on, and now the focus shifts to Nami and Zoro for my favorite development we get within One Piece in this entire saga. Zoro is a bit one note as a character. Like, he's a guy with a sword in his mouth, and he is that he is the guy with the sword. If someone asks you to describe Zoro's character, just show them that image and go, that's the character, and you're not doing a disservice to him. But that's not to say he's shallow. He's one note with depth to that one note.
It is very true.
Necessity.
Zoro's one of my favorites for sure
from One Piece, which is something I really enjoy. You can take a character that's rather simple in concept, and because of the versatility of the world and where this story is willing to go, there's quite a bit of interesting exploration of that note through that. So during this giant fight, Zoro ends up against what is widely talked about to be like the greatest swordsman of One Piece. Though I'm sure because we're still early on in this manga, there's going to be much more difficult swordsmen for Zoro to fight down the road. It's funny, for an interesting turn, I expected this to be a proving point for Zoro where it shows just how badass he is.
Nah, he got
Zoro
clapped.
gets his ass
Nah, he got
handed to him,
clapped.
and one of my least favorite tropes occurs, but at the same time, because of the world of One Piece, I actually didn't mind it, and that's that after being destroyed by this Blade Master, Wheel of Time terminology, he's left alive, and the guy essentially says, I respect your heart, kid. You can get there eventually. And then Zoro pledges to never ever lose again. Will he be able to keep that pledge? I actually don't know, and I think it's kind of interesting. Again, because One Piece, which I feel like is going to be a continual theme for my reviews of One Piece, I actually think it would be neat for him to never lose again, and just have Zoro be this character who, through sheer willpower, is able to pull off incredible feats because you, I'm not gonna lose again. Like, that would not work in any other tone. but with One Piece it works. On the other side of things, though, we have Luffy dealing with a much larger fight with captains and Sanji.
I know.
Member of the crew, Senji.
No,
And
you
this
got
is
it right the
actually,
first
like,
time, bro.
First time I feel like
it's gonna be
Luffy
okay.
has been challenged. Before they've had to like kind of just take
Yo,
him
thank
out
you for
of
the
combat
bits.
for
Oh my
the-
God, Red Alpha Wolf. Thank you so much. It's going really well. Thank you so much. Glad you're enjoying the reactions.
For the rest of the crew, because Luffy, as I've said before, is a force of nature. I never felt like Luffy was at risk of dying, but he was finally being pushed to limits in a way. And that was, again, interesting. We actually see the Straw Hat crew tested pretty harshly in this story arc, and I think that was needed, because that was one of the few criticisms I had of Syrup Village. It was just like nothing here feels like a challenge for them. I enjoyed that storyline.
That's true.
But
They
now
did
I'm
really
actually like,
clap
all right,
Kuro. He
I don't
really
fear
wasn't
for
any.
these people's
He wasn't
lives,
shit.
But I see there are forces at play in this world that are beyond them. Like even Zoro is humbled, and we get Sanji joining the crew, and I still don't have a great feel for his character, but I'm excited to see how he develops, because again, he feels like a totally different kind of character joining with the Straw Hats, and I just really love the dynamic of this
Kuro is
crew.
definitely
And a
not
friend
the
of mine
best.
told me that the next major arc, I think it's called Arabascus, I don't know. Really
Can
develops
somebody
a
explain
full
that to me?
relationship among all of
What's
them.
up with the whole Arabasta Alabasta thing? Why is it called Alabasta in the fucking anime, but in the manga it's Arabasta? What's up with that? L and R are the same in Japanese, so it's the same thing. So it was just like was it just like a pronunciation thing? So what would be correct? Like, what is technically the correct? Is it Alabasta or Arabasta, or does it not matter, or is it both? Both are correct. Okay.
And that's going to be great. Next up, we have the Arlong arc. I think that's what it's called. And this is where Nami really gets the service
Nami!
her character needed. She already had so much personality and was holding her own.
Somebody
standing
correct this
alongside
man.
Zoro and Luffy, so I don't feel like she was a weak character at all. But now we fully get to understand her, and it's just
She's
showing
incredible.
One
Yeah,
Piece is
she's
absolutely able to deliver on a lot
Arlong
of
Park is still
promises
one of the
that
best
are
arcs in the
set out.
series.
We
It's
find out
so
exactly
good.
why Nami is a thief, and she's been working so hard, and why she's even willing to stab her own crew in the back and steal their ship. It's because she owes this person an ungodly amount of money, and out of desperation, yes, she is actually friends with this crew, but she's doing what she feels she must. Granted, if I was going to be nitpicky, I would have come back with the fact that obviously Luffy has displayed himself to be a kind of friend that would help her with full knowledge of the situation, but I could counter that by saying, why would she actually like trust him to that extent yet? And you know, she needed to do what she's got to do. It falls into both, but I'm okay with it playing out the way it does, because the end result story we have is probably my favorite story, like a little mini arc. There's some of these little arcs going on for One Piece yet. And what I also really enjoy here is, well, obviously the narrative focus is on developing Nami during all of this. Everyone still feels like they play a role. Even Usopp is doing stuff. Zoro is kind of proving to the reader
that's pretty
after-
good. Hey, he's doing stuff. I mean, that's better than the constant Usopp slander.
Is lost, that he's still absolutely badass, and Luffy is.
I just want some respect on God Usopp's name. Is that too much to ask?
Definitely felt like the true climax to the East Blue Saga. It all felt very much so building towards this, and I'm glad that Nami was chosen to be really the focal point here, because the story definitely fit what is built up so far, with her not being entirely committed to the crew and having the catharsis of her finally being committed. Luffy being like, "You're my friend, I love you," the wholesomeness of this pirate crew coming through oh so well. It just mixed, and it resulted in what I felt like was the true climax this story needed. But this does lead me to my first real criticism, and I hope this doesn't stick with me all the way through all these chapters and volumes. The structure bugs me, just I think of manga probably altogether. I don't like having these definitely chopped up little stories, though I think One Piece is doing a very good job of connecting them all. And there was this kind of epilogue, little arc put on here where they're going to this major city, and we're definitely being just
I guess that kind of makes sense. I didn't think about that, because I guess books aren't really structured like that, right? Like a book, it's like, I guess when they go on a different adventure, they just come out with a new fucking book. I guess I never really thought about it in that way.
up for what is to come. It's just set up.
Some manga don't connect arcs, but
the praise I have is where going back, looking at where this, saga began, knowing the initiating incident of the Pirate King being killed and challenging people to find his treasure, knowing where that is and kind of coming back to that location at the end, I did like kind of coming that full circle, and it does feel like a nice launching off point for what is to come. This final little bit, though, just felt a bit too long for me, to the point where I, as the reader, am just kind of going, okay, you're introducing all these things, that's nice, can we get moving? But, with my already spoiling what's coming next a little bit, I am very excited to see where this goes, and I would say the East Blue...
Did he say, like, what arc did he accidentally go to? Like, there's gotta, like, that's what I want to know. Did he, like, what saga? He must have gone somewhere.
Blue Saga,
Volume 12? So what volume does the East Blue end? So he accidentally jumped all the way to Baroque Works. Oh, he said 12 volumes ahead. Oh, so he was even farther than that. That's funny. So he was probably in like Drum Island. That's wild.
He gets a very solid 8 out of 10. I have some structural complaints. The tone just isn't always vibing with me, but for sure, I am laughing out loud. I'm in love with everyone in the crew so far, except Usopp. You kind of suck. And the amount of development provided.
The God Usopp slander!
The most nuanced, but are very explored with who they are, is refreshing and different. It's like a
so
different
sad.
way of approaching character than I'm familiar with, at least.
I felt the same way, though. I can't even get mad.
But I don't think many people are going to make the case that, like, Luffy is the most tactful, nuanced character of all time. He's bombastic and over the top, as everyone in the crew seems to be. Or obviously, I don't have that much of a feel for Sanji yet. But what you're able to do in such a crazy world...
I'm curious to see what his thoughts for Sanji will be as it continues. Like, what was it? Murphy? Like, she has this like weird love-hate relationship with Sanji, which I kind of expected. And I'm just real curious, like, what he's gonna think of Sanji, like, as it continues.
And all these different storylines playing out is to really, not to make a pun with Luffy here, stretch out and get into the details of what having characters like this would result in, which just brings so much opportunities for just sheer joy in the pages and wonderful payoff for just how these people exist. I can see why a lot of people were saying, like, not directly, but in some ways, One Piece is almost like the Middle Earth of manga, because as this world is unfurling, it's so huge and it has so much mythos clearly to it, and I don't know how well it's planned out yet. I'm too early on, but I'm really excited to see
you about to have your mind blown, bro.
Grow, because in terms of my experience with manga, nothing has felt this big before. But anyway, let me know what you think of One Piece or the East Blue Saga in the comments down below.
Yeah, his pervy side does go a little too far sometimes.
So far, do you think I'm getting a good read, or no, I'm completely wrong about One Piece altogether? Like and subscribe if you have not already, and hit the Patreon if you want to support what I do here.
Yeah, these will get uploaded to YouTube.
Oh, and for the love of God, if you're going to read
in
One Piece,
their own videos
digitally, you don't need to spend all the money to get all the volumes. It's way cheaper.
$2. The Shonen Jump app, not sponsored, but it's a really good app.
And maybe use that money you save to check out Breach of Peace and like the links down below. I don't know. Bye.
So like I said at the end of the last video, if you enjoyed the reactions, go check out Daniel Greene's videos. If you're watching my reactions, there's a possibility you're even farther than I am, because, you know, I can only obviously watch his reviews that I've seen. And if you've seen farther One Piece, you can watch more. So go subscribe to him. Links in the description box below. Go watch the video. I know you watched the reaction along with me, but, you know, open up another tab. Give him a view. I'd really appreciate it if you can do that for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next Daniel Greene review reaction thingy. Bye.